night's win over the Capitals. Toronto will host Boston this Wednesday in their final game before the All-Star break. NBA trade deadline is coming up. Hits a week Thursday, and the Raptors are still being talked about by NBA insiders. Shams Charania reporting the Knicks and the Suns are the teams who remain interested in OG Anunoby. We've been hearing that for a while. Toronto is in Phoenix tonight. Anunoby will not play, dealing with a sprained left wrist. Tip-off goes at 9 p.m. And highly touted Jays prospect Ricky Tiedemann is among the 14 internal non-roster players who will be at spring training. Jays have also signed minor league deals with catcher Steve Berman and infielder Vinny Capra. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime at sportsnet.ca.
Looking to make healthier choices in 2023? Start with sleeping well. Because when you sleep well, you do everything else well. The New Year, New You event is on now only at Sleep Country. Get amazing prices on all your sleep essentials, like a Queen Aerotop mattress for only $4.99. But hurry, this price ends soon. Now's the time to wake up to the power of a better night's sleep. Sleep well, stay well. Sleep Country.
The news cycle these days can be too much.
Cases are up more than 25%. Backing up indoors once again to LGBTQ plus
Let us help with that. I'm Jordan Strawlings, host of The Big Story, Canada's most interesting daily news podcast. Every day, we stop that cycle in its tracks and examine one big story, something that matters to Canadians in depth. You can find The Big Story every morning for free at Frequency Podcast Network or wherever you get your podcasts.
This is City News. A U.S. congressman wants to speed up ongoing efforts to clear a backlog of applications for the Nexus program. Here's City Scott Burnett.
The Make Nexus Work Act would require U.S. Customs and Border Protection to rely on video teleconferencing instead of in-person interviews. Democrat representative from New York, Brian Higgins, introduced the bill. He says a pilot project during the pandemic proved the agency is already well equipped to handle remote interviews and Nexus renewals. A dispute between U.S. and Canada over the legal powers and protections U.S. agents would have on Canadian soil has essentially throttled any progress on current applications. Earlier this month, a new solution to the backlog would see the joint interview process divided into two meetings, one with Canadian border officials, the other in the U.S. That would mean that if you're traveling to the States from Canada and you've had your Canadian interview, you could potentially make the U.S. interview part of your travel plans. Scott Burnett, City News.
And the U.S. Surgeon General backing research that shows kids and social media can be an unhealthy mix. He says he believes 13 is too young for children to be on social because kids are still developing their identity.
It's a time where it's really important for us to be thoughtful about what's going into how they think about their own self-worth and their relationships, and the skewed and often distorted environment of social media often does a disservice to many of those children.
Most of the popular social media apps are ages 12 and up, and actually Twitter has a 17 and older requirement. Traffic and weather next.
Hey, snowmobilers, did you know 60% of Ontario's snowmobile trails cross private land thanks to the generosity of property owners? That's why riders must respect this land by staying on marked OFSC trails, riding between field stakes, and not entering closed snowmobile trails. With your cooperation, the Ontario Federation of Snowmobile Clubs can maintain good landowner relations and keep trails available for you to ride. Learn more at www.ofsc.on.ca. That's ofsc.on.ca.
If you or a loved one has been involved in a life-changing, traumatic accident, you need someone fighting for you. Sokoloff Lawyers can help you make a claim for benefits, negotiate a settlement, or at last resort, take those responsible to court. With over 30 years' experience, Sokoloff Injury Lawyers' team won't stop until you get what you're entitled to. If you've been injured, don't put it off. Call Sokoloff.
Don't put it off. Call Sokoloff.
Visit areyouhurt.ca.
Time 3:21.
Traffic and weather together. Carrie.
This report is brought to you by Atlas Care. Westbound 409, all lanes remain closed at the 427 due to an earlier collision, so it's a terrible drive here. Westbound 409 jammed solid from Martin Grove to the 427, and you'll be forced to either continue on to the northbound 427 if you stick to the left-hand lanes where your four stops. That ramp continues to either the southbound 427, which also takes you through the westbound 401, or you can also exit at Viscount or Airport Road. Westbound on the 401, it's busy from the 404 in the Express and from Leslie in the Collectors to about Yonge. Slows again from the 400 in the Express to Dixon. The southbound 400 is jammed from approaching Shepherd onto the eastbound 401 ramp. We still have a couple of problems on the eastbound 401. That issue on the ramp to the 410, that has cleared, but approaching the 400 in the Collectors, the ramp lane is partially blocked with the collision, and then there's a stalled vehicle just east of the 400 in the Collectors, the right lane closed there as well. So delays here on the eastbound 401 from the 427 to about Islington in the Express, and it's jammed to east of the 400 in the Collectors. So you're definitely better off in the Express lanes. But with those stalled vehicles, the eastbound 409 is really heavy as well, from east of the 427 onto the 401 ramps. We still have a problem on the westbound 403. It's at Cawthra, where the right lane is blocked with a collision. That has traffic backed up from the 401 in the Collectors. Westbound on the Gardner-QEW combination, no delays, or no problems rather, but we do have delays. It's first busy from Jarvis to west of Strawn, slows again from Kipling onto the 427 ramp, and then it's busy from approaching third line on and off to west of Guelph line. A reminder that Bloomington has reopened in both directions east of Highway 48, all lanes getting through after a collision investigation. Need a new furnace? Take advantage of incredible savings with Atlas Care Heating and Air Conditioning. Visit atlascare.ca today. And now with the extended forecast, and it's going to be a chilly one, Natasha. A fair bit of sunshine this week, but it comes with a price. It's going to be a cold week, especially Friday. Wait till you hear that high. Overnight tonight, so we've got these flurries mainly ongoing to the north end of the city. -11, wind chill -18. That's what we're waking up to in the morning. So dress for that. The afternoon is partly cloudy and -5. Wind chills near -20 on Wednesday morning, and then it's a breezy, partly cloudy afternoon. Also staying dry. Still some flurries to the north. Wednesday's high -4. Partly cloudy and windy Thursday with a high of -1, and then by Thursday evening, this is when that cold front comes through. Morning wind chills Friday -29. The afternoon is partly cloudy with snow squalls to the north. We'll get some flurries in the GTA. The high on Friday just -15. Overnight tonight down to low of -11, feeling like -18.
Overcast in downtown Toronto, -2, feels like -7.
HGTV's Scott McGilvery here, and I've got some exciting news. The
680 everywhere. A book of condolence has been set up at Mississauga City Hall for anyone who wants to pay tribute to former Mayor Hazel McCallion. She died yesterday at the age of 101. One of the people offering their thoughts today, current Mayor Bonnie Crombie, she reminisced about the day she was called to McCallion's office as councillor.
What did I do wrong? I'm going to be dressed down by Hazel, who takes every opportunity to dress down prime ministers and premiers, ministers of the government. Now it's my turn, a lowly councillor on her team. But actually, she announced to me that she was going to retire, and she encouraged me to put my name forward on the ballot, and that's what that meeting was about. And believe me, it was one of the most meaningful moments.
That sound is our confident driver whistling Beethoven's Fifth, I believe. Visit your local Subaru dealer and really own winter with uncommon winter capability.
City News Time, 3:26.
Business, here's Ari.
And James, it seems interest rate jitters are leading to most of the declines on major markets, with the U.S. Federal Reserve, the Bank of England, and the European Central Bank all making interest rate announcements this week. Right now, though, Bay Street is down 127 points at 20,587, with most of the losses coming from the energy sector, in line with losses for oil. That's down almost $2 at just under $78 U.S. per barrel. Gold futures also off by $7 at $1,938 the ounce, and the loonie has fallen 0.4 cents at 74.72 cents U.S. Shares in Rogers are pretty much unchanged, but shares in Shaw Communications down about 0.5%. The deadline for the merger deal between the two companies that would see Rogers acquire Shaw for $20 billion has been extended to February 17th, pending a full review by François-Philippe Champagne, the federal industry minister, before it gains final approval. Now, the price war for electric vehicles is heating up, as analysts are predicting the pace of growth for sales will slow this year. So shares in Ford Motor Company today are lower by close to 2%, as well as some electric vehicle companies, with Tesla down more than 3% after Ford announced the price of the electric Mach-E Mustang would be slashed by an average of $4,500 U.S. in response to Tesla lowering the price of their vehicles by as much as 20%. But right now, we're seeing declines as well for Wall Street stocks, with the Dow Jones heading for a snapping a 6-day winning streak. It's down right now 270 points, while the S&P 500 has fallen 1%. The Nasdaq leading the declines and heading back towards its low for the day, down by 1.9%. At the City News Business Center, I'm Ari Rabinovich.
Your dreams have come true, Toronto. Direct from the London Palladium, the brand new smash hit production of Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat is now wowing audiences at the Princess of Wales Theatre. Don't miss this acclaimed production of one of the world's most beloved musicals in its North American premiere. Go, 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 go see Joseph. Now on stage through February 18th. Book your dream tickets now. Call 1-800-461-3333 or go to mervish.com.
You're listening to KIDS-FM, Kids Radio, where we play the classics on repeat, like Are We There Yet? And Melody has a pony, why can't I have one? Can we get the sugary cereal, Dad, please? Malcolm just pulled my hair, and your favorite, Mom, I've gotta go potty.
You deserve a vacation. Reward yourself with the Scotiabank Passport Visa Infinite Card and earn up to $1,300 bonus value. Scotiabank, you're richer than you think. Certain deductions apply. Actual value may vary. Conditions apply.
City of Toronto has issued an extreme cold weather alert. This evening, mostly cloudy, -6. Overnight, clear, down to -11. Tomorrow morning, sunshine, -9. Tomorrow afternoon, some clouds, and -5. Then on Wednesday, partly cloudy skies, lake effect flurries to the north, a high of just -4 and a wind chill near -12. It's overcast, -2, feels like -7. City News Time, 3:30.
Toronto's #1 for breaking news, traffic, and weather. This is City News 680, everywhere.
It's Monday, January 30th. I'm Sljana Tominczyk.
And I'm James Monroe. Here's what you need to know.
2 men are dead. A woman is injured after an early morning crash in the Bloomington Road and 9th Line area. York Regional Police are looking for witnesses.
A state funeral for an Ontario legend. Coming up, the funeral for David Onley.
A deep freeze will usher in February this week with temperatures plunging to -25 Saturday morning. Increasing concerns about Toronto's homeless population.
Looking for a third win in 4, the Raptors will tip it off in the desert tonight, and a Chicago Blackhawks legend has passed away. Sports at 45.
Bay and Wall Streets are starting the week off with losses, although shares in Canada's Ritchie Bros auctioneers are on the rise, but not enough for Bay Street. Business at 56.
City News Time, 3:31.
Traffic and weather together on the one. Here's Carrie Prunskis. This report is brought to you by AGM Renovations. On the westbound 409 at the 427, all lanes are still closed because of a collision. So westbound 409 traffic is jammed solid from Martin Grove to the 427. If you need to get to Pearson, I had a call from a traffic spotter saying that taking the westbound 401 ramp to Dixon was a really good alternate, just accessing Pearson Airport from those city streets starting at Dixon. So that's a good way to avoid these delays on the westbound 409 because it's really quite terrible. Westbound on the 401 from the 404 to Bayview, express lanes are busy. It's only a little bit slow through Yonge and the collectors. And then more volume on the westbound 401 from approaching Keele, alternately express and collectors to Dixon. Southbound 400, it's jammed up from south of Finch onto the eastbound 401 ramp, where we had a couple of problems. Eastbound 401 approaching the 400 and east of the 400 in the collectors. Both those issues are gone, but now we just have the residual delays from approaching the 427 to Islington and the Express, and it's slow to east of the 400 in the collectors. Busy into the Durham region as well, from just east of Brock Road to east of Salem. Just getting word of a new problem on the northbound 427, approaching the 401 and the Express. The right lane is blocked with a stalled vehicle. The collision on the westbound 403 at Cosra, that just cleared away. Traffic is still backed up from the 410 and the collectors. How about the money you save staying at home? You spend on your home. Increase your living space. Finish your basement. Call AGM now and get $5,000 off your new basement. Visit agmrenovations.com. And now with the forecast, some more sunshine on the way, Natasha, but also chillier temperatures.
Flurries this afternoon, maybe a light dusting at most, but as we get up into the north and east ends of the GTA, that's the target for some of these flurries and a dusting overnight tonight. We're going to wake up to sunshine at -11. It's going to feel like -18 in the morning, and we'll have a bit more cloud in the afternoon, but should stay dry in the city with a high of -5. Tonight down to low -11, wind chill -18.
-2 feels like -7. This is City News.
We begin with breaking news from
Speak with
Whitchurch.
anyone who may have witnessed it. Phil.
James, around 6:30 this morning, York Regional Police say there was a crash between a red Toyota Corolla and a dark maroon Mercedes SUV in the Bloomington Road and 9th Line area. According to Constable Laura Nicole, 2 men in the Corolla were killed. The female driver of the Mercedes was seriously injured. Was this a head-on crash?
We typically don't go into specific details on how the collision occurred, only because at this early stage, we really want to hear exactly what a witness saw. So sometimes if we give too much information about what we potentially think could have happened, a witness may think, oh, I thought I remember this, but now that I'm hearing police say that, I now, it can alter potentially their memories.
So police are appealing to any witnesses or anyone who may have seen the driving prior to the fatal crash to give them a call. Phil Martino, City News. City News Time 3:34. Members of the public as well as dignitaries gathered today for the funeral for David Onley. The former lieutenant governor was a champion of disability rights. City's Richard Southern reports.
It was a full state funeral here in Midtown for a man who meant so much to so many in Ontario. David Onley started his career as a City News reporter. He didn't shy away from his disability, which was the result of a polio infection. He embraced it, and he continued to fight for disability rights as the longest-serving Lieutenant Governor of Ontario. Speaking today, the current Lieutenant Governor, Elizabeth Dowswell.
David Onley made a difference. On his coat of arms are inscribed the words, "Per Adura ad alpha," through adversity to the heights.
His son, Jonathan, provided some levity in his eulogy.
One day, we were out shopping, and as so often happened, a man came up to us, visibly excited. "Hey, City Paul!" He said, I know you. You're Jojo Shinto."
Premier Doug Ford.
His contributions to our province will never be forgotten. And may God bless our 28th Lieutenant Governor of Ontario, David C. Onley.
At York Minster Park Baptist Church, Richard Southern, City News.
City News Time 3:36. The city has a major problem on its hands as it works to shelter the homeless from extreme cold. Experts say declaring a public health emergency would help get more resources flowing. Here's City's Caitlin Lee.
A frigid start to February. It will only reach -14 Friday. The overnight low near -25, and that's without the wind. Toronto has issued an extreme cold weather alert, opening warming centers, but longtime street nurse Kathy Crow tells City News vulnerable people are slipping through the cracks.
System was so full that even when the cold alert was canceled a couple days ago, 2 of the warming centers had to stay open because they had no place to send anybody. It's the first time I've ever kind of heard that officially happen.
She says with no real shelter spaces available, many are turning to hospital ERs and public transit. The Toronto Board of Health trying to have the threshold for warming centers to open change from -15 to 0 to ensure people have access to safe spaces all winter. The motion will go to council on February the 14th. Caitlin Lee, City News. City News Time 3:37. The House of Commons has officially kicked off the spring session of Parliament. MPs restarting their legislative work now after the winter break, and the economy and health care seem to be top priorities.
As the Prime Minister prepares to meet with premiers next week on a new health funding deal, NDP leader Jagmeet Singh says any agreement needs to include hiring more nurses and doctors, and he continues his push to have the feds try and stop provinces from introducing more private options in the public health system.
With private for-profit delivery, costs go up, and the quality goes down, and we saw that with long-term care homes.
He's calling for an emergency debate in the House of Commons. Meanwhile, the government's trying to juggle an expected recession with the cost of living crisis. As it prepares the spring budget, the feds hint at more targeted supports for struggling Canadians. It's expected to be a feisty spring, with Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre taking aim at the Prime Minister, saying the country is broken.
You told us that better was always possible, and yet everything is worse.
The Prime Minister says he has faith they'll work out the problems facing the country.
In tough times, we pull together. We don't throw up our heads and say everything is broken.
Cormac McSweeney, Parliament Hill.
A staple of the Chicago Blackhawks in the 1960s, NHL Hall of Famer and Stanley Cup champion Bobby Hall passed away today. Here's City's Alex Sixero.
In a statement, the Chicago Blackhawks said the Golden Jet helped the team deliver countless memories during his time in Chi-Town from 1957 until 1972, helping the Hawks hoist the Stanley Cup in 1961. As one of the most prolific scorers of his era, Hall won 2 NHL MVPs, 7 scoring titles, and he still leads the Blackhawks all-time with 604 goals. Hall was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame in 1983. The same year, his number 9 sweater was retired by Chicago. He also faced his fair share of issues off the ice. Hall was convicted of assaulting a police officer who intervened in a dispute with his then-wife in 1986, and his second wife had accused Hall of abuse in a 2002 interview with ESPN. Bobby Hall was 84. Cause of death has not been announced. Alex Sixero, City News.
A check of gas prices next. We all believe in the possibilities of tomorrow. And at Easy Financial, we're here to help with loans to manage unexpected expenses or debt consolidation. If banks aren't an option, we can help get you approved in minutes and your money as soon as today. And with Easy Financial's personal, home equity, and auto loans, you can get the loan that's right for you. So you can start rebuilding your credit for a better tomorrow. Plus, from January 30th to February 4th, get up to $200 cash back with your loan. Apply today without affecting your credit score at easyfinancial.com. Conditions apply. Now the City News gas price update. Emperor predicting the price will not change at midnight. We should stay just under $1.51 a liter. Traffic and weather together next.
Whenever you've needed us, federal public service workers have been here for Canada. We deliver the services you rely on through this crisis and the next. But for nearly 2 years, we've been on the front line without a contract. That's a big problem, because while the government stalls on making things right, we all pay the price. Workers can't wait. None of us can. Learn more at workerscan'twait.ca. A message from the Public Service Alliance of Canada. Get a fresh start this year at TSC with amazing savings on top brands and products. Save up to 15% on Bowflex and save up to 20% on footwear and healthy eating favorites. Now until January 31st. Turn big purchases into small payments with interest-free Easy Pay on everything you need to reach your goals. Shop now at tsc.ca. Today's shopping.
City News Time, 3:41.
Traffic and weather together on the one. Here's Carrie Prunskis. This report is brought to you by the City of Toronto. Well, no change with this closure on the westbound 409 at the 427. It is still shut down because of a truck rollover. That rollover occurred in the early morning hours, around 3:15 this morning. So cleanup is still ongoing. Westbound 409 is jammed solid from Martin Grove to the 427. And that ramp that takes you to the 427 where everybody's being forced off, it's partially blocked. They have the left lane closed to MTO crews. So you can still either go to the northbound 427 or continue to the southbound 427. Those ramps, if you go southbound 427, also end up splitting to Airport Road and Viscount. So that is an option, but you can just avoid the westbound 409 altogether and take the westbound 401 and exit at Dixon. Had a recent call from a traffic spotter saying that was a good way to get to Pearson Airport. Westbound on the 401, it's slow from the 404 to Leslie and the Express, and from Bayview to Yonge and the Collectors. And then delays from approaching Kiel, alternately Express and Collectors to Dixon. Northbound on the 427 at the 401, it looks like the right lane is blocked here with a stalled truck. So this is really jamming up things on the northbound 427 from Dundas up to the 401, especially in the express lanes. If you're heading up the northbound 410, that's busy from Steeles to north of Queen, and traffic is slow on the northbound DVP 404 from Dundas to York Mills and from Highway 7 to north of 16th Avenue. Eastbound 401 is busy from approaching the 427 to Islington and the Express, and slow to just east of the 400 in the Collectors. And then it's busy into the Durham region from Brock Road to east of Salem. Seeing a long lineup on the eastbound 409 from approaching Martin Grove onto the 401 ramps. And on city streets, southbound Don Mills at Finch, all lanes are blocked because of a collision. Looks like eastbound Finch is down to 2 lanes at Don Mills because of this crash as well. So this is a good spot to avoid. Looks like traffic is jammed in all directions around Don Mills and Finch. Toronto homeowners are reminded that they have until February 2nd to declare the occupancy status of their property. Visit toronto.ca/vacant home tax to learn more and declare. And now with the forecast, here's meteorologist Natasha Ranza. Hi.
All right, Carrie, we're looking at flurries right now. So overcast skies. We're going to clear out some of this cloud, at least in the city tonight, but north and east ends of the city, still looking at some lake effect flurries. And then we've got squalls once you move back towards Georgian Bay. Overnight tonight, and your morning wind chill will be around -18. We'll have some good sun in the morning, partly cloudy afternoon and -5, and a partly cloudy Wednesday, a little bit breezy with a high of -4. The morning wind chill on Wednesday -20, but by, I would say by Thursday, Friday, especially Friday and Saturday mornings, we'll have that wind chill around -30. Overnight tonight, down to low -11. It's currently -2 degrees at Pearson, feeling like -7.
Now the Dynamic Funds Market Minute to the Business Center. Here's Ari Rabinovich.
All right, so Jenna, just a little over 15 minutes left to trade in the day, and it doesn't appear as of now like markets are going to make any kind of surge into the green anytime soon. We're still looking at big losses to start out the trading week as interest rates and recession fears continue to be on the minds of investors, with some major announcements expected this week from the U.S. Federal Reserve on Wednesday, as well as the central banks of the UK and the European Union. And we're looking at Bay Street down 110 points at 20,604, with losses in the energy sector the biggest weight, in line with losses for oil. That's down almost $2 at just under $78 U.S. per barrel. Natural gas also lower today and now floating around a 21-month low. The price for gold, with gold futures, it's down $8 at $1,937 the ounce, and even the loonie, it's down 0.4 cents at 74.72 cents U.S. But the Nasdaq is seeing the most losses right now, down by 1.75%. The S&P 500 is also off by about 1.25%, 50 points lower. The Dow Jones has fallen 220 points. At the City News Business Center, I'm Ari Rabinovich.
Concerned about the risk of inflation? A financial advisor can help. See why advice matters, now more than ever. Visit dynamic.ca/advice to learn more.
During Cora's all-you-can-eat crepe festival, eating one crepe costs $10. 5 crepes, $10. 10 crepes? Anyone? You got it. Also $10. Should I keep going, or are we good? I'd say we're pretty good. Maybe even as good as all those crepes.
It's Cora's Breakfast and Lunch All-You-Can-Eat Crepe Festival. Only until February 12th, and only in restaurants.
The first step to solving a problem is accepting what you can't control. You can't control interest rates. You can't control the lottery. It's not your fault you can't afford a new home. Accept it. But you can afford to upgrade your home with a new kitchen and bathroom. ATM can make your home like brand new from just $2.99 a month. Do it. Call now and save $3,000. Watch, listen, connect. This is City News 680. Everywhere.
Mostly overcast in downtown Toronto, -1 with a wind chill reading of -6. Good afternoon, I'm Sljana Tominsic.
And I'm James Monroe. Here's making news right now.
West 409 at the 427 remains closed for a truck rollover. Pearson Airport says the closure is affecting traffic around the airport. Give yourselves plenty of time if you're catching a flight. 2 men are dead. 1 woman is in hospital with serious injuries following an early morning crash near Bloomington Road at 9th Line in Whitchurch, Stouffville. If you saw anything or have dash cam footage, police want to speak with you. The city of Toronto is facing criticism that not enough is being done this winter to help those who are homeless. There are calls for the city to declare a public health emergency. And coming up after sports, we'll tell you why the Ontario Nurses Association says it's planning a shutdown protest.
Sports, here's Alex.
Hey, James, the Raptors now sitting a game out of the final play-in spot. Their road trip continues in Phoenix this evening. The Raptors will not have OG Anunoby, who's nursing a sprained left wrist, so Precious Achiuwa, who's played very well of late, should see plenty more time on the court. Tip-off is 9 o'clock. Maple Leafs just wrapped up a stretch of 7 games in 13 days. They held an optional skills development skate at Ford Performance Center today. Willie Nylander among those taking part. Leafs have 1 more game before the All-Star break begins. They host Boston on Wednesday. Just the 1 game in the NHL tonight. Sportsnet and Sportsnet Now will have it with the Blues in Winnipeg at 8 o'clock. Jets have lost 3 in a row. Meanwhile, we got the news this morning that Bobby Hull, Stanley Cup winner and 7-time NHL goal-scoring champion, has died at the age of 84. Cause of death not been announced. The Golden Jets still leading the Blackhawks all-time with 604 goals. He was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame in 1983. Got some baseball news. The Jays have invited 14 non-roster players to spring training, including top prospect Ricky Tiedemann. Jays open up their spring schedule in less than a month, and veteran right-hander Zach Greinke is heading back to the Kansas City Royals on a 1-year deal. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime at sportsnet.ca.
Sports is brought to you by Precision Sexual Health Clinic for Men. If you're suffering from pain or curvature during an erection, you may have Peyronie's disease, affecting approximately 9% of men. Precision Sexual Health Clinic for Men offers non-invasive, virtually painless treatment options that can help this uncomfortable condition caused by buildup of scar tissue. Don't just live with it. Learn how Dr. Judah can help. Book your confidential initial visit at precisionclinictoronto.ca. That's precisionclinictoronto.ca.
Many people suffer from anxiety and depression. They feel an immense sense of despair. I'm Nainish Kotak, and at Kotak Law, we help clients who've been denied long-term disability. Often insurance companies deny disability claims on the basis that there's insufficient medical evidence. We fight for your right to receive the compensation you deserve. If you've been denied long-term disability, don't give up. Visit kotaklaw.com today.
City News Time 3:49. The Ontario Nurses Association says it's planning a series of escalating actions to bolster its push for higher wages as contract talks with the Ontario Hospital Association began today. Interim ONA President Bernie Robinson says the union is seeking far more in wages after Bill 124 capped public sector wage increases at 1% a year over the last 3 years. Robinson says the last contract left nurses feeling disrespected and devalued. And while members can't legally strike, they will start wearing stickers at work highlighting contract priorities and will begin holding information pickets at hospitals next month. The ONA is also planning what it calls a shutdown protest downtown on March 2nd. Traffic and weather together next. City News Time 3:50.
Is your cruise made easy center with shiploads of offers on amazing cruises to destinations like the Caribbean, Alaska, and Europe. We're your one-stop shop for all your cruising needs. So get on board and call our specialist cruise team now at 1-833-987-0144. But hurry, don't let these epic cruise deals sail away.
Hands at Heart Center and HSBC GIC.
Do you mean namaste?
In today's unstable markets, nothing can center us like a guaranteed return of up to 4.88% per year on HSBC GIC.
One of Canada's best rates. Peace of mind in a world of uncertainty banks with us. HSBC Bank. Rates are subject to change without notice. Offer valid until March 31st, 2023. For detailed terms and conditions, visit hsbc.ca/special rates.
City News Time 3:51.
Traffic and weather together on the one. Here's Carrie Brunskis. Westbound on the 409, traffic is still completely jammed from Martin Grove to the 427. All lanes of the westbound 409 are still closed at the 427 because of an earlier truck rollover. So traffic gets forced onto that ramp that goes to the northbound 427 as well as southbound 427. That's still an option. And ramps to Airport Road and Viscount, they're still available as well. You can avoid this mess, though, on the westbound 409 and just take the westbound 401 ramp to Dixon and then get to Pearson that way if that's your final destination. Traffic spotters say that's a really good alternate. Westbound 401 is busy from Bayview to Yonge in the collectors, then slow from west of the B. Allen, alternately express and collectors to Dixon. Northbound 427 at the 401, the right lane is blocked because of a stalled truck. A major backup here northbound 427 from the Gardner to the 401 and the Express. Collector lanes are getting busy from approaching Bloor to Rathburn. Northbound on the Don Valley Parkway 404 combination, it's pretty busy from approaching Dundas to York Mills and then from approaching the 407 to north of 16th Avenue. Eastbound on the 401, it's backed up from Dixie and the collectors to the 427 ramps and slow going approaching the 427 to about Islington and the Express. Delays on and off to Keele and the collectors. And then it's filling in gradually from Avenue and the Express, Bayview and the collectors to Leslie, and a slow go into the Durham region from Liverpool Express and collectors to east of Salem. The southbound 400 is busy from south of Finch onto the 401 ramps, and we have delays on the southbound 404 from south of Finch to the 401 ramps, but no problems or delays heading down the southbound DVP. On city streets, north and southbound Don Mills at Finch. It's reduced to a single lane here because of a collision, so traffic can get through this intersection, but it is really busy because of this collision. Again, Don Mills and Finch, a good spot to avoid. Your next traffic report is at 4:01. Now with the extended forecast, here's Natasha Ransa. Hi.
Oh, yes. I just wish I could stop that Thursday and not tell you what's coming on Friday, but I will. Overnight tonight, though, not bad. A little bit cool. We're going to clear out some of this cloud and flurry action. All those squalls are going to continue off to the north back towards Georgian Bay. Morning wind chill around -18. We'll have some sun to start. A little bit more cloud in the afternoon and -5. Morning wind chill of -20 on Wednesday. The afternoon also partly cloudy, a little bit breezy with a high of -4, and we'll still have these ongoing flurries to the north. Thursday's partly cloudy, windy, and -1, and then this cold front that comes through Thursday night drops us to a high of just -15 on Friday. Wind chill -25. We will get the mainly sunny skies on Friday, but smooth squalls to the north and wind chills Friday and Saturday morning in the -30s. Overnight tonight, down to lows -11. It's currently -2, feels like -7 at Pearson.
This year, make Israel your RSP investment destination. Hi, I'm Raquel Benza-Karstavati, CEO of Israel Bonds in Canada. Discover the value of adding Israel Bonds to your RSP. One-year terms are now paying 4.66%. And simply put, when you buy Israel Bonds, you're investing directly in the state of Israel. Call today, 416-789-3351, or visit israelbonds.ca. Israel Bonds are sold in Canada by Canada Israel Securities Limited, a registered exempt market dealer. Conditions apply.
Traffic is always changing.
Now, more than ever.
Listen 3, 4, 5 times a day.
This is City News 680. Everywhere.
One of Motown's first and fiercest stars has died. Here's City's Scott Burnett.
Led the charge with the breakthrough single that put Motown on the map, Money, That's What I Want, recorded back in 1959. He also collaborated on classic hits like I Heard It Through the Grapevine and War. Strong and Norman Whitfield became one of Motown's most effective songwriting teams, penning hit after hit for the Temptations. The Motown Museum announced Strong's death yesterday. He was 81. Scott Burnett, City News.
Business is next.
Search Kings is saying out loud what many small business owners are thinking. What good is a digital plan and all of its buzzwords if it doesn't make the phones buzz at your business? Discover instead what thousands of Canadian business owners already know. The phone rings with Search Kings. And Search Kings' total transparency on cost, results, and return on investment means you never have to say, I wonder what's working. You want to stand out where your customers are online? Switch to Search Kings.
Are high interest rates scaring you from getting into the housing market? Don't be scared. Call Northwood Mortgage. The specialists at Northwood understand complicated markets, like the one we're in now. They'll take a closer look at your financial picture and work hard to find a custom solution that works for you. Visit northwoodmortgage.com. We're working harder for you.
License number 10349.
City News Time, 3:56.
Now the business report, here's Ari Rabinovich.
So, Jenna, just a few minutes in towards the closing bell, and we're still looking at big losses to start out the week, ahead of some big earnings coming out from companies like Apple and ExxonMobil. We also have some interest rate announcements coming from the U.S., U.K., and European central banks. Right now, Bay Street is lower by 0.7%, pushing back towards its low for the day. It's down 141 points at 20,573, with oil down almost $2 at just under $78 U.S. per barrel, and natural gas hovering around a 21-month low. The energy sector is the poorest performer right now, weighing down Bay Street. That's down almost 1.4%. The Canadian dollar is off by 0.4 cents at 74.70 cents U.S. Now, even with Bay Street well into the red, shares in Canada's Ritchie Bros auctioneers are higher by 1.6%. On news that one of the main shareholders, Independent Franchise Partners LLP, is backing the company's proposed takeover of American counterpart IAA. This is in contrast to the other main stakeholders who opposed the deal, including Janus Henderson investors, who refer to the acquisition's level of unnecessary risk for Ritchie Bros shareholders. On Wall Street, it's a sea of red. The Nasdaq is the biggest loser right now, and pushing back towards its low too. It's down about 2%. The S&P 500 500 has fallen just over 1%, 46 points lower, and the Dow Jones has fallen 270 points. And Avatar, The Way of Water, has topped the box office for the 7th weekend in a row, bringing in another $15.7 million this past weekend. It's now made an estimated $2.1 billion worldwide. The Avatar sequel is now the 4th highest grossing film of all time, behind Titanic, Avengers, Endgame, and the first Avatar at the top of the list, which brought in close to $3 billion in 2009. And with the Super Bowl match now set, the plans for parties are starting. Short-term rental companies like Airbnb have been cracking down on bookings used for big parties, and now competitor Vrbo is looking to get ahead of the Super Bowl demand. They're tracking factors like length of stay and number of guests, then they can let property owners know by getting an alert if there's a high-risk booking made. Owners can then cancel the reservation penalty-free. Vrbo is a private company, but shares in Airbnb right now are down by more than 5%. At the City News Business Center, I'm Ari Urbanovich.
Yes, Michael. Love is where it's at.
Love is where it's at.
Love is where it's at?
Callum, this whole thing was your idea.
Oh, you're talking about our new pendant for Valentine's Day.
Yes, Cal. The $99 diamond pendant that's shaped like an @ sign.
Because love is where it's at.
The design was your idea, Cal. Isn't that what you were trying to say?
No.
No?
No?
Did he say no?
Yes. He said no. When I show it to my wife, I'm going to point to the @ sign and say, this is an @ sign. And then I'm going to put it around her neck and say, and this is where my love is at.
I like it.
Me too.
$99 buys you a silver pendant with a small created diamond.
$249 buys you a white gold pendant with a created diamond twice as big.
Located in Vaughan, Scarborough, and Mississauga.
In Markham this hour, mostly cloudy, -3 degrees. Flurries reported in Mississauga, -2. In Hamilton, we have some light flurries and -1. Downtown Toronto right now, mostly overcast and -1 with a wind chill reading of -6. The News Watch never stops. Watch, listen, connect anytime at citynews.ca, City News 680 at CFTR AM Toronto. It's 4 o'clock.